Radio. And today we have an amazing, awesome singer, songwriter, song composer. I mean, you artist. If you name it, he probably does it. A man of many Jackson trades. I love him. He's out of Detroit, Michigan. So what up, though? The one and only Rone A is here. Rone, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's an honor to be with you all today with Iconic Radio. It's been a blessing to just work along with collaborations with you and Mr. Iconic. So I'm super excited about our meeting.
Oh, I see you got your what shirt is that you rocking right now? That looks like an interesting shirt.
Yeah, this is the shirt that we have a pending trademark in that we came up with based on our theme for Detroit. You're welcome into our city. And at the bottom, it says here in Detroit. And what we're going to do long term is have those who are interested put the name of their city in it so it can be versatile for all cities. And then I have my iconic lady, watch this, on the back. If you can see that, hopefully I'm on my cell phone. So, yeah. So we can promote our business as well on the back. And so, yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a big surprise. Thank you so much for that. It's always a pleasure to see and hear about all the works that you have going on, especially for Detroit. I mean, the city is so amazing, and the song that you're presenting to us all. Let's talk a little bit about your musical background, because you didn't just jump into music. Like, you have a musical background. So let's talk a little bit about that. What was it like for you growing up?
Growing up, my mom and my dad, we always had music in our household. And we were the family that was always known to have the parties, and my cousins, all of my cousins would always, they still talk about today how they would love to come visit our home and be around my parents and, my other siblings. And so it was always a festive activity going on at my home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and my dad, his famous artist was Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
So my middle name is Marvin. So he named me, yeah. So that was my dad's doing.
Man, listen, well, I can tell you now from now on, you may hear me call you Marvin every now and then. Just for old time's sake. I love that.
Yeah.
When you think about the musical history of Detroit, and how, obviously Motown, did the music background, did any of the musical influences play a part in your musical journey?
Absolutely. Again, my dad was, he loved music, so we always had music in our home. And a little funny story is he would have me and my sister sing at his party. So he would, me and my sister would get up and do like Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, okay? And I couldn't really sing, and I still can't sing to this day. But I love my dad for that, because he encouraged me to do it, and he would let me get out of it, right? And so it was like, it was his way, or like they say, the highway. So it was like, okay, we just got to go ahead and get this done, okay, so we can, go on with our life, right? And so, so we got some funny stories about me and my sister singing duets at my parents' parties.
So basically, you was booked and busy at an early age, and it sounded like your dad had little Joe Jackson complex kicking in. Y'all get on stage. Let's go. It's my party. Wow.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that, because you don't really hear a lot about the history of people when it comes to their passion. And I know that you're very passionate about music. You're very passionate about the artists you work with. You're very passionate about the producers that you work with, and branding. Branding is really big for you. As you're wearing the shirt, you got Detroit in the front, you got Iconix Radio in the back.
That's right.
Let's talk about the importance of branding, because I know it's really big for you.
Yes, it is. It's a part of advertising, and I'm in sales as well, right? So, I think I can blend and hopefully blend the two together. And I always think about what would make me purchase something, or maybe what would strike my interest, right? And
Yes.
so with your radio station, you and your husband, I'm so excited about Iconic Radio, okay? And you too, being all right, African American business owners, young business owners is super exciting. And I know when you guys probably started, people, some people have maybe a little hesitation. How you go to get in the radio business? That's a big
Right.
business, right, right. And
Yes, it
so
is.
it is, okay. And so when I got introduced to you both and found out that your husband is a producer, you're an artist, you're a writer, you're, all of that great stuff. I was right. I was like super excited. So the way we got together was initially I had your husband do a package for me, write a package,
Yes.
and I came to you all because I was writing a jazz album. And again, I'm not a good singer, but I've always been a lyricist, and I actually started off writing with Lawrence Payton Jr. of the current Four Tops, and me and him were neighbors.
Wow.
So we went to junior high school and high school together,
Come
right?
on now.
I know, right? So we were really good buddies. Even before I knew his dad was one of the Four Tops, I had known him for about a couple of years. And so I went over his house one time, and somehow the topic came up. I see some pictures of something. I'm like, man, that's your dad, one of the Four Tops. He said, yeah. I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool. And so he's a very good singer, excellent singer even today, and songwriter as well. So he had came to me, and this was like when we were like probably 18 years old.
Wow.
Going back, right?
Okay, Rone, I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever in the bathroom with the fellas giving it a go? Because the bathroom is where a lot of Motown singers started. I just want to say. So were you ever in the bathroom with the fellas, like giving it all you had, just singing your pipes out?
Well, no, but me and Roquel and one of our other schoolmates, we used to sing together. We were trying to formulate a little group. And of course, I would help Roquel do his background on his songs.
Come
And
on
then
now.
another guy that was really a great singer named Willis Sneed. He was from our neighborhood. He lived right around the corner. And he had a great tenor voice. Pretty much, I don't know if it's tenor, but he could sing like Eddie Kendricks.
Oh,
And yeah,
wow.
he was really good. And so we used to, get together and sing together. But no, personally, I never sung in the bathroom with a group, but I have sung in the bathroom by myself.
Come on now. Listen, I know every singer knows where to go to get that right note. Go to the bathroom,
Right.
y'all. Listen. I love it. I know that family is very important to you as well. Thank you for sharing that story as well. This is
Yes.
super cute. I know that family is very important to you. You've been married with your beautiful wife for a very long time. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well, because I know you've been serenading that sweet thing for a long time.
A long time. I practiced a lot of my songs on her.
I know that's right.
Right.
But speaking about family, because it's very important to you, let's talk about how music has influenced you to keep your family together, because I know that is a thing for you.
It is. It is. Speaking of that, I'm gonna tell you a little funny situation. A song that I just recently wrote, and it's really based on my father and my mother. And my mother and dad, sometimes they would kind of go their separate ways, like have their differences, right? And me and my siblings would be like, "Oh man, she should just leave him." You know how young kids are. We'd be like, we gonna be on the mama side. You know what I mean? We okay, right? Okay. But then when she would get back with him, we were like, I can't believe it. I'm like, what is he saying?
It's still your daddy, y'all. Still your daddy.
Okay, to get her back. So I recently wrote a song called "Please Don't Leave Me," and it is really based on my dad and my mom's situation. And he said, "Oh, I'm asking you, oh girl, I'm begging you, oh please don't leave me." And she didn't.
I think now I know why your dad was a huge fan of Marvin Gaye. The man got a little soul in him. I know that. I love it. It's so beautiful. But even when you look at your family dynamic and your children and your grandchildren, and you're still doing music until this very day.
Yes.
I think that's very powerful. When
Yes.
you're looking at your children and your grandchildren, do you ever find yourself saying, I want somebody to pick up my musical, can
Yes.
somebody be influenced?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Matter of fact, the name of my publishing company is after my children. I have a son, Tyrone Jr., my daughter, Tyra, and my oldest daughter, Carla. So that's why I came up with the name TT&K for my publishing business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so and my little my grandson, my son's son, TJ, which I believe you met at one point in time.
Yes.
And he lives with us on and off. So now he's into, and I didn't really try to influence him, right? But he's been around me all his life, right? And I had a video when he was younger, maybe about 2 or 3 years old, on my piano, trying to play the piano. Okay,
Oh, wow.
right? Okay. And so he now is a young rapper. Right. So watch that. So how I found out about him. One time we was in the car, and he put on this. He turned on some music, and you know how the kids know how to sync it into your car, like that, right?
Right. He was like, "What you doing? I got this, pops."
Right. So I'm listening to this. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty decent. I'm like, that probably sounds pretty good, because he has a nice singing voice, really nice singing voice. And but then some of the things he was saying, like rappers, okay, he's okay, right? And
Right.
I'm like, well, who's doing this?
It wasn't no bleeps in there. It was like straight raw. I
It was
got
straight
you.
up, right? And I'm like, he said, that's me. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's you? I'm like, oh, okay. I said, okay. So I didn't want to turn him off or whatever. I'm like,
Right.
okay. I'm saying, okay. I said, so I said, what you got right now is pretty good. I said, but I could work on you in the engineering side, just to, right? And so I said, so even with what you're doing, I know you would transition into other types of music, right? Because I write just regular straight stuff, really, right? Okay.
Right.
And so I said, and I know your transition, but I'm not gonna kind of quell your gift right now, because you may be doing a little cursing or whatever, okay?
Right.
And because I know long term he can grow. So then I said, well, what kind of program do you have? I'm like, how did you do that, right? So at the time, my system had shut down, and so I wasn't able to compose anything. And he said, I have this app on my phone. I said, on your phone? He said, yeah. So I said, man, what you got to introduce me to? My system shut down, man.
He's like, I'm not that technically inclined.
And so he introduced me to the app, which is BandLab. And and BandLab is just an awesome tool for those who are looking to do the music, because a lot of this now is digitized, right?
Yes.
And they have the
technology
studios.
plays a very big major part. Even if you don't mind me, even with how you create and collaborate with different people, and how you work with different artists. Speaking of artists, if you don't mind me going into, let's talk about some of the artists that you're working with that have actually come along the way with your new musical journey, blending in so many different components into your creativity.
Very good, thank you. So on BandLab, I started out. You can purchase your own music on BandLab, right? Or you can buy license agreements. So they have songs for starting at $10 to maybe $50 customarily, right? So $20-$30, and they'll give you a 10-year license agreement on the song, on the music that you can promote, and even do one commercial and all of that. And what I found out reading the contractual agreement, we actually have 50% of the publishing rights as well.
That's important.
It is really important. So I started doing some mixing for other artists, because sound engineering is, I believe, one of my fortes as well. So I used to mix for the church. I was actually the lead sound person, man, for our jurisdiction. And at the time it was, so it was Greater Millimore Church, Bishop Earl J. Wright I was under. and he had about 5 other churches, and so I was the sound man for the jurisdiction, and I went to help a few churches set up their sound systems and everything, and that was a real blessing, and I really enjoyed doing that kind of work. And so I started doing some mixing for other artists on BandLab, because a lot of them had really great music and have great music, but some of the mixes I thought could be a little bit more polished or a little lower, because sometimes that balancing aspect is
It's
really
very
important.
important.
And I know you all know this, right? Because you can have the greatest song, but if it's too loud, it's just too other instruments too overbearing, it can really hamper the song.
That's
So,
right.
so I did that, and by doing that, other artists started sending me collaborations. And then one artist, he was looking to write some lyrics. He had a very nice song, and he had half of the song, but he didn't have it completed. And so we did a collaboration. His name is Russ Whaley, who I'm working with right now. And actually, we
Awesome.
have a song that we're going to be promoting real soon. So
Awesome.
so that's been it's a great tool, and I'm really excited about him. And to find out, actually, he's a digital producer, and when he sent me and he does his work, dude, you're really good, right? And I didn't know you can play like that. He said, no, I'm actually I do that digitally. I'm like, no way,
You
right?
know, I think this is so amazing the way, even with as long as you've been in the industry, like you're talking about from when your daddy had you and your sister coming into
Yeah,
the house, hey, my party's tonight. Get
right,
dressed. All
right.
the way to high school,
Hmm.
being affiliated with your neighbor who was
Right,
part of the Four Tops. His father was
right.
part of the Four Tops. So much musical history has
Yeah,
just like been around you,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and now you
Hmm.
have grown into the technology industry of the business,
Yeah,
and now you're collaborate. It's like this is okay. When they say like never take no for an answer and
yeah.
don't be intimidated
That's right.
by anything, I
That's
think
right.
like your face should be right there, like call Tyrone. Like
And you.
call Tyrone, call Tyrone, listen. Call Tyrone,
That's
listen,
funny. Yeah.
because it's. I love the fact that you never gave up. I
Never.
love the fact that you're not giving up,
That's right.
and your collaborations and everything you're doing is still relevant to
Well,
this day. I know you now. Speaking of
mhm.
artists and
Yes.
collaborations,
Yes.
um, there's two artists specifically that you wanted to highlight. Let's talk about those two artists, if you will. Please
Okay.
tell me their names and what music do you have coming out with them?
Awesome. I just have to say this. You're one of the greatest interviewers, and I'm not just saying this because I know you. Okay. Haven't I gave you that compliment before?
I believe you have. Yes,
Okay.
Tyrone.
Okay, and see, it's so good when others compliment us, if they do, and when they do, versus because we can't compliment ourselves, right? And
Yeah.
it's not so much, and they always says it's not so much as what we think of ourselves, but it's what other people think of us and how they perceive us. And if they perceive us well, then that's a real God blessing. And so, you are a great interviewer. I've watched your interviews with other artists and everything, and you got great artists on your platform, and it's exciting. You're exciting. You intriguing, and you do ask the right questions. So with that said,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, and well deserved. My artist that I have right now, I have a versatile male artist, and his name, which I chose to kind of include my name too as well, is Rone.
Rondelius.
Yes.
Talk about branding. Hello.
Okay. Right. Okay.
I got
And
your name. Don't worry about it. I got you.
I did look it up, and nobody else has that name. Nobody else has utilized that name, and I also have it copywritten. So yeah, so his name is Ron Dizzy. I want something that hopefully would be macho, right? Because kind of remind me of like a gladiator's name or something. It's all
Yes.
macho. So so it's Ron Dillius, and my female artist, her name is Rona.
Rona, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I think I love the way that you're continuing to keep your legacy in the body of your work. It's amazing. And then because the social media, the internet has been able to open up its platform, open up many platforms to everyone. I just love the creativity that people have. It's like you don't have to just work your 9 to 5. You can also indulge and put out the creativity that you have within you and give it to the world. Like some people may like it, some people won't, but the fact that you are pouring out is what matters the most. And Mr. Iconix and I want to let you know that we love you and we appreciate all that you do because you're such an humble, amazing individual. And you, anything that you do, you give it all the way top notch, my guy. And I love it. So Detroit, Michigan, just know you have some really good people out there. And Tyrone, Rone A is the one. Okay. Speaking of branding and speaking of being also a businessman, my late amazing mother-in-law, the mother of Mr. Iconix himself, Darlene Johnson, Grammy nominated even. Her legacy, it continues to live on.
That's right.
So if you're not familiar, I'm sure you know the Honorable, the one and only Bishop James Johnson and his amazing, beautiful wife, again, the late Darlene Johnson. We've had the opportunity to work alongside with you being an amazing businessman, even in the industry that you really, really have been very dominant in.
Wow.
Like the top 25 or top 20 in the country. Like, we're going to get into that and talk about the importance of life insurance.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned that as well. That's how I actually became to know you and your husband was through Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Johnson's mom and his dad. And I became their insurance agent. And trust me, she was not an easy lady to work with, only because she has so much insurance investment, right?
Wow.
And she was so serious about insurance. And she didn't want any mishaps, and I fully understand that. And so by me doing some service work for her and over time, and just being patient, right? And then she had worked with some other agents that kind of didn't really feel her comfortability level and really kind of understand her dynamics and how much she already had invested, and wanted her to spend way more than what most people feel is customary, even for themselves, right?
Right.
So by me being attentive to that, I was able to develop the relationship with Mrs. Johnson and Mr. Johnson, and became their insurance agent, and some of Mr. Johnson's siblings agents, his uncles and aunties, everybody.
Baby, everybody got covered. The whole family got covered. And then, not to mention, my beautiful mother-in-law, she even introduced and turned you guys over to us. And my mom, Sandra Roberts, when she transitioned, you also you walked us through it. And it was all of a sudden, it was out of nowhere, as the same as the late Darlene Johnson. And you came into action. You helped us save so much money. We were so not mentally or emotionally prepared, and you don't take that lightly. And I can tell you, for the world to know how important life insurance is, how important to have a very serious, heartfelt, passionate person involved when that time comes, because it's gonna come for us all. Like you told us, get your stuff in order. Because you're going to have to call me one day, or hopefully, you just never know. So the importance of artists, producers, because we're independent. We got jobs too.
You're making a very good point. That's right.
We have to, if you're an independent artist and you're like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, I ain't got to get no job. Hold up, boo. You have to have coverage, and you have to have investments. To the artists and the producers, the record labels, everybody out there that's independent, how important is it to invest into life insurance?
It's extremely important. And I say this because insurance is one time, one of my managers actually asked me one time, he said, he said, what is your greatest attribute? You know, and I was thinking, and sometimes we think about what we can accomplish, things we've ever accomplished, and I thought about it, and I gave him an answer. He says, "That's okay." He said, "But really, it's your ability to generate income."
Hmm.
And when he said that, I was like, wow. And then he said, and then if your ability to generate income is hampered by, disability or accident, things of that nature that can be disruptive in our, weekly income, monthly income, that can change things. And
Mm.
and then when we have family members that count on us, right? And we as we continue to develop and grow financially, there's a lot more obligations. So if something happens to that primary person, then that can drastically change the family dynamics as well. Because
Yes.
because a lot of times after the homegrown services, we're faced with still our bills.
Bills. Lots of bills.
Lots of bills, right? And then so when we start looking at that loss of income, and we figure, well, my husband or my wife is not bringing in her income, right? And now that's 50% loss of income. That could be very, very drastic.
Yeah.
And so I like to talk about protecting those type of things, having that um window of time where we can get through financially without worrying about other bills and obligations. And it's what we call a critical period, right? So that's at least 6 months to a year that we need additional income besides the final expense aspect,
There we
right?
go.
And then if we have children, now need to be looking at our children's education. How are we going to pay for their college and maybe their private schools if they're attending schools even right now, daycare, all of these kind of things, right? And then we have the home, and most especially ladies are really concerned about if they lose their husband, how they're going to maintain their home and
Right.
and their mortgage payments, right? And so that's really important. Mortgage protection. So you have loss of income, children's education, mortgage protection, and then how to settle debts as well. Because
Right.
sometimes we've accumulated some debt. So who wants the creditors to be calling us, especially at a time of bereavement, about money, right? Okay, you like, listen, you
So
need to
true.
leave me alone right now, okay, right? But if we
Block.
had the money, we like, hey, I'm gonna send you a check this week. Okay, goodbye. Okay, right? and can do it. And so yeah, it's those factors, and a lot of even with artists and even with entertainment industry, they have salaries, and sometimes we get bonuses and things of that nature. And sometimes these companies want to, or that may get cut off, or they can protect it with insurance, then we're even more insurable and we're more valuable because they're not going to lose money either, unfortunately, if we pass away at an unforeseen time.
Thank you for that. Again, I'm so excited that you're here because you're dropping so much knowledge on us today, as well as letting us into your musical background, your musical history, and just everything about you, even when it comes to family. I think this is just amazing. And what music do you have out right now, and where can people find you and follow you?
Okay, my primary link is right now is with BandLab, and
Okay.
I'll send you the link, and I think it's a part of my name. I'm pretty sure it may be Rone. I think it's Rone A/A. And
We'll put
I'll
it in the
kind of verify
captions.
that, right? Okay. Yeah, it's like you say, Brandon. You have to keep it in where it makes sense and people can recognize you easily. And so, BandLab is my platform that I have all of my current music on. And the cool thing about BandLab too is that once we own the music, we can publish it, and once we publish it, it becomes protected.
I
It
love that.
automatically becomes copywritten. Now that's a business form of copyright. We still have the Library of Congress that I also back my music up with as well. But at least as a artist, and that we're writing kind of rapidly and we're moving kind of quickly, we can
Right.
quickly publish it as long as we feel comfortable in the final mix, and they will protect it too. So BandLab is my link. You guys are also, we have compilations and everything together too.
Right here. That's right.
Okay, and I like
Yeah.
to kind of mention that and how I became connected to you both musically. Because until I became connected with you all, I was just, at that time, my wife would say when I talked about my music, she called it a hobby at the time. Okay, okay, she's like, okay, that's a nice hobby. Okay, but are you making any money at it? Or what's the likeliness of you making money? So my wife I love her to death because she's serious. And she gives me straight talk. Okay, okay. And I value her for that because I learned a lot from her. And I have
How
to
long have you
also.
all been married?
We've been married over 40 years.
Over 40 years. So
Yeah.
whatever she say, whatever you say, we believe you. We trust you. Okay.
Okay. And God honors that too, because even though technically the man should be kind of the leader and protector of the home, right?
Facts.
But he
Facts.
also right, but God also honors you all as well and your commitment to the relationship and the commitment to understanding. Excuse me,
Yes.
and working together and supporting one another and being honest with each other. I know you all are the same way where you can tell each other things and some other people may not be that honest with us, right?
Yeah.
But it's helpful. So yeah, but getting with you all, I came to you all when I was I had the vision to what I did because I'm not a I can play. I went to school. I studied music and theory and composition, but I was so busy trying to write music I wasn't studying. Okay, you know what I mean?
Right.
I wasn't trying to
Right.
write stuff, right? And so I learned enough where I could lay down the foundation of a song, and I know chord structures and theory and composition. And I read books on how to write songs and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm not a good singer. And so I'm not a singer where even if I had the best song, you would
It ain't
listen to
coming
it.
out right, y'all. This is
No,
not.
no, it ain't coming out. Okay, okay. So when I met you all, I came up with this idea. I said, I said, well, why don't I just focus on what I call my strengths was songwriting? And I
Okay.
said so, and I started listening to jazz music, and it was just so easy for me to come up with lyrics and the song and the structure for that song with that title, not changing the title, with the title of the song. And so I said, I'm gonna start writing a jazz album and I'm gonna take top 10 jazz hits and I'm gonna put lyrics on it, right?
Right.
And the people I talked to thought I was like kind of far fetched. Like, okay, okay, okay. You know you can't sing. I'm like, okay, don't worry about the sing. I said, if I write this song, you just listen to the content of it, and then we can find some singers, okay?
And then you found Mr. Iconix, and we got a chance to definitely link with you. And
Yeah.
what did you hear different with Mr. Iconix production? Because I know that made quality over quantity means a lot to you. So tell
Yeah.
us, how did that merge happen?
Yeah. And so when I came to you all and Mr. Connick, first of all, and he said, okay, so I was networking with some artists, the jazz artists out there.
Right.
I connected with three of them, and a couple of them said that they wouldn't mind doing some collaboration with me. They're busy, they're wealthy and doing all this kind of great stuff. You
Right.
and I, I mean, to take the time with me, okay, and I understand that, right? So, and then I talked to your husband. He said, well, we may run into publishing issues too, because some of their music may be published and then the publisher owns it, not them. So now that's kind of can get involved in the dynamics. He said,
Right.
why don't we just take your lyrics and I'll put the music to it. We'll do our own original music, right?
Yes.
And so that's what we did, and it came out beautifully. Your husband is just such a astute art producer and arranger. And I said, listen, I trust you, and you just do your thing. And then we worked out a deal where we shared the copyright to say so because I said I didn't want to just have him do all this wonderful music and he didn't have any ownership. He would just get paid for publishing or producing, but not anything else. So we did the joint copyright work together, okay? And he has a publishing company. I have a publishing company. We're doing our publishing together. So it became
Wow.
a great marriage. And what I learned about him and you all, and this is when I finally got to what we call industry level, okay? Because at
Come on now.
that time,
I'm
okay.
about to say we've went through so before you go there, I can truly say that we've listening to your story from the beginning with your dad and how important musical influence had on him. He ended up naming you Marvin with your middle name, and had you and your sister singing in front of for the parties. Like, I mean, and now it's, as you're now saying, now your industry along with technology, you've blended the two. You have a brand. You've made a song dedicated to the city of Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's
and
talk
it's a
about that.
banger as well. And not to mention, you produced. You also did some of the arranging. You put so much like work into. I mean, it's some good stuff, y'all. When Mr. Iconix always drops something from you, and I said, I know that's a Rone A song. I know that's a Rone A song because it's something different.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to say, just continue to live out your dreams, because you like many others who probably just didn't think that they could go on.
That's so true. Oh, and that's sad. And I don't want anyone to ever think like that. Let me be at least an example based on my age currently right now. And you can see I got some gray hair. And
you
I started doing this when I was 18. Okay. At least 50
I was gonna say to the listeners that are out there that can relate to your history, to your background back in the Motown days, and who are also trying to now find their way in today's society with technology. Really quickly, what quick words of encouragement would you like to leave us with?
I would say one of the famous quotes that we hear a lot is never give up. Always, and I wrote this to my children just the other day. I said, if you can believe it, if you can conceive it, believe it. See, because God gives us all our gifts. We're all talented in some way.
Right.
We just happen to be in music and things like that, right? But people, they talented in dancing, whatever, creativity, whatever, engineering, all kind of things, right? And so, but what happens is that as we start to explain our gifts sometimes, and if someone is not trying to developing or have aspirations and bigger goals, then they may not understand what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
And that can be a little disappointing. So they're not trying, I don't think, to distract us, but at the same time, they may not be encouraging us enough or saying, hey, look, go ahead and try it. What do you have to lose? Here's my thought. We start off with a no. If we haven't did something or at least seeking to try to get a yes, we already have a no. So don't be afraid of the no. Okay, we already got a no. I got a song too. It says what it says, something like all I can, if you say no, whatever, all I can do is get a yes or something like that, right? So the yes, the no can be turned into a yes.
Don't be afraid of the no's, guys.
Don't be afraid of the no.
Going.
Okay. And sometimes the no, even in sales, is that they don't know enough about us, or we're not kind of maybe explaining our mission enough well, or have it really thought out. We should have a mission behind our purpose, a mission statement. We should be able to tell people in 30 seconds what we're about, what mission that we're on. Okay. Right. So my mission in insurance is that I can help elevate people's quality of insurance by what they learn from me. So I can say that in a few words, but hopefully describe, what my mission is. And my mission is in music is that I'm a lyrical interpreter of music.
Woo! Listen, guys.
So.
Here's the thing, if you don't have a mission, you might just want to sit down and figure it out. I think that's really big and really heavy. Tyrone, I think you have blown us away. And guys, listen, you can hear Rone A's music right here on Iconix Radio. Be sure to download the app. Be sure to tune in and let us know what you think on this interview. Please leave us a comment and just keep the love, the energy. And look, every now and then, just go down to Detroit. You might hear the song. Yeah, here we go, guys. Rone A, we're going to play play a quick game. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, guys, here we go. Brace yourselves. Round A, first question is, in what city was the hit sitcom Martin filmed in? Martin. We have A, Houston, Texas, B, Detroit, Michigan, or C, New York, New York.
I'm going to say Houston, Texas. I hope, because you all are there. And if not, I would say, man, because that was my favorite show. And you would
Rone
think New York.
A?
Well, is it Detroit? I didn't listen to all
I'm
three.
about to say that, look, don't go outside if you don't get this right. Do not go outside.
Okay.
That is correct. Detroit is correct.
Okay.
I was nervous for you. I ain't gonna. Okay, guys. Here we go. But H-Town stand up, period. Okay, look. The next question is, what was the name of the company to create this 90s toy, Tamagotchi? Was it A, Sega Toys, B, Bandai, or C, Hasbro?
Wow. So Sega Toys kind of, I think that's what you said, kind of stands out. Hasbro, of course, is in the industry. So if I have to maybe go between those two, and I think I'm going to go, because Hasbro is so used to it, you may not want to give me that one. That'll be maybe too easy. I'm going to say Sega Toys, or what's the first name you told me?
Sega Toys or Bandai?
I'm going to say Sega Toys.
Sega Toys is incorrect. It was Bandai. That's okay. That's okay. We got one, but as long as you got the Detroit one right.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
But guys, okay, lastly, here we go. In the X-Files, what was Mulder's nickname? Was it A, Spooky, B, Sherlock, or C, Dick?
Wow, you guys, you've been doing some really great research. I would say maybe Spooky, because that sounds kind of funny.
Final answer?
Well, no, okay, I'm gonna say.
Don't run from the no.
Okay, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with the final answer.
Spooky is correct, guys. Rone A, this has been such an amazing, and remember, Martin was filmed in Detroit, Michigan, so make sure you keep that locked in, okay?
I will, okay.
Guys, we love us some Rone A here at Iconix Radio. Thank you for everything that you do for the industry, as well as everything you bring to the industry. Shout out to Band Lab, and also Life Insurance.
And Iconix Radio.
Yeah.
Don't listen. You all have a new app right now, because I need help, because I know it's hard to do on your own all the time. You all have a new app. You have the easiest app to get to your radio station. You have the platform with all genders of music, 24-hour live streaming. You're promoting us as artists and newcomers into the industry. You have special pricing that is so low. Listen, this is so low, you can't get any lower, okay?
Hello.
Okay, and the person that want to invest in themselves or into a business, how do we expect people to invest in us? And that's something that we need to think about. A lot of times we're more or less interested in what is it for me? What is it for me? And not so much what is it for a company as well. A company, it's got to be it has to be a marriage, a two-way street.
Right.
It can't be a one-way street. So you have a platform, $25, I think, is your new promotion. Listen, I told you all I'm signing up, and I want
the Holla Knot. That's right.
Fact,
$25 Holla Knot is out right now. That's right. That's right.
Tell somebody, and if you hot, you better get on it. If you're not, then maybe you might, I don't know. But
we'll still take that 25. Look, Rone A, don't do we're gonna still take that 25. But yeah. Rone A, we love you. Thank you so much again. As Rone A said, you can download the app right now. You can hear Rone A's music and as well as the amazing artists that he has. Thank you so much for being a guest on Iconix Radio. We love you. And guys, stay tuned. This interview was one you did not want to miss, and I know you got some good gems. It's your girl Rosii with Iconix Radio, and we will see you next time. Love you, Rone A. Thank you.
Okay, take care of you both.
See you guys soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.